Hello everyone, a very good evening. Welcome to Oliveboard. This is the JAIIB Foundation May 2025 series for the RBWM paper. In this series, we are summarizing all the units of our RBWM paper unit wise, and today we are going to discuss the unit 14. Before we start, please share the videos with your fellow aspirants so that they can also avail. And these videos are very important from an exam point of view. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss any of the updates. So we have already discussed the different types of retail products that are offered, or the retail loans that are offered under this banking segment. And the recovery of retail loans is very important, so the banks, they can have a smooth functioning. When we talk about the recovery of retail loans, let's say a banker a banker it was approached by a customer for a personal loan. Let's say a housing loan, and the bank, they gave this loan to the customer after availing a security, after keeping an asset as security. But or at the time of the repayment, this person, they defaulted, and this loan that was given by the bank to the borrower, it becomes a non-performing asset. So now what provision does the bank have to recover that loan, to recover the unpaid dues? So in this chapter, we are going to discuss all of that. We are going to discuss the different categories of the substandard or doubtful assets and what measures can the bank take. So when we talk about the default in the case of a retail loan, this default can either be because of some genuine reasons, or it can be because of a willful reason. Genuine defaults are due to reasons beyond the borrower's control. Let's say the borrowers, they lost their job due to a particular reason, or there was a medical emergency in their family, so they could not make the payment of an installment, or they were having a small business and the business could not generate enough profits to make the payment. So that could be a genuine reason. For genuine defaults, the banks, they understand that the intention to pay was inact, but only the ability to pay is affected. So the approach of the bank for the recovery will be one of care and concern and customer oriented, because the setbacks sometimes are only temporary in nature. So the restructuring of the bank loan can be done. The repayment period can be increased. In the case of willful default, the individual, the borrower, they have the ability to repay the loan, but they are making the default due to some willful reasons. Default in the payment or repayment obligation to the lender, even when the borrower has the capacity to honor the obligations. When the borrower has, let's say, diverted the funds for some other purpose, right? They have siphoned off the funds, disposed of the, let's say, movable fixed assets or immovable property that was given as a security. In this case, the bank should take the necessary actions to recover their loans, and the recovery process should be generated along with the penal measures against the willful borrowers. So the legal process against the borrowers should be initiated, and the bank can proceed against the guarantor it's also, along with the principal debtor. So all of these options are there. So when we talk about the irregularities in loan accounts, bank should make, or they should take all the necessary steps to monitor the loan accounts, that the timely repayments are being done. If they find that the repayments are, or the installments are delayed, or there are some irregularities, then they should take steps and procedures to correct those. For example, we say that the special mention accounts are there under the three categories. That is where the principal or the interest payment or any other amount that is overdue between 1 to 30 days, then it is a special mention account 0 category. If it is overdue between 31 to 60 days, then SMA 1, and between 61 to 90 days, it is SMA 2 accounts. So the special mention accounts should be given more attention, and pressure should be laid on the customers to make the payment on timely periods. Then we also have a classification of the irregular loan accounts into substandard, doubtful assets, and the loss assets, right? So we have a non-performing asset, which is a loan where the interest or the installment of the principal remain overdue for a period of more than 90 days. So the loan account will remain in the SMA category 2 until 90 days. Beyond that, beyond that, the account will become a non-performing asset. The account remains out of order in respect of overdraft or cash credit for a period of more than 90 days, and the bill remains overdue if more than 90 days. Then we categorize a substandard asset which has remained a non-performing asset for a period less than or equal to 12 months. So this asset will have well-defined credit weakness, and it will be characterized by distinct possibility that the bank can sustain loss if the deficiencies are not corrected. So this is a substandard asset. We should remember the time period, 12 months. For 12 months, if it has remained NPA, then it is a substandard asset. The asset will then move into the doubtful category if it has remained non-performing for more than 12 months. Again, we have the doubtful assets classified into three categories. The first category is doubtful one, where the asset has remained doubtful category for up to 12 months. Then the doubtful 2 category for more than 12 months up to 3 years, and beyond 3 years it will be known as a doubtful category 3. So after the substandard, more than 12 months, we will term it as the doubtful asset. And finally, an asset or the loan account will be termed as a loss asset if it is considered uncollectible. And the bank will now decide that, okay, this loan has gone into loss. It is non-recoverable. So in this flowchart, we refer to the standard and the NPAs. Standard is a regular where there is no delay in the repayments. Stressed account is where 1 to 90 days of delay can be seen. Then under the stressed, we have the special mention account categories, the first 0, 1 and 2. Then we have the under the non-performing assets, the substandard up to 12 months, doubtful assets more than 12 months. Then we have the three categories under the doubtful and the loss assets, which the bank will now term as non-recoverable, right? So now we are going to discuss the various options that are available with the banks for the recovery of their NPAs. First, we have the SARFAESI Act, which is the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act. So when the banks, they have huge amounts of NPAs collecting, they will not be able to perform their functions in a smooth manner. So the SARFAESI Act was brought into force in 2002 to legalize the securitization and reconstruction of the financial interest as well as enforcement of the security interest. So how can the banks now take the security to the market and recover its unpaid dues that is given under the SARFAESI Act? So the loan account must have been classified as NPA and it should be secured. So the banker will now be termed as the secured creditor. Then the outstanding in the account should be more than 1 lakh rupees, or the dues should be discharge their duties. Then the securities will be taken to the market. All right. This is the SARFAESI Act. Then we have the recovery through the debt recovery tribunals. These were established, the DRTs and the DRATs are established by the central government under the Recovery of Debts Due to Banks and Financial Institution Act of 1993, which is also more popularly known as the DRT Act. Then an amendment was made in 2019 and the name was changed to include bankruptcy also. Bankruptcy also. So the Recovery of Debts and Bankruptcy Act of 1993. So the DRTs are set up as the special courts for the faster recoveries of the dues. So before the SARFAESI Act, the DRT Act was functioning. So they act as the civil courts and they deal only with the recovery of dues, and the tribunal can hear the cross suits, counter claims, and allow the set-offs. DRT can appoint the receivers, commissioners, also pass the ex parte orders. Ex parte orders are those against which the appeals cannot be filed with the DRAT, which is the Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal. So we have both the DRTs and the DRATs. The DRT, when an application is filed by the secured or by the bank, not the secured creditor but by the bank, for the recovery of a debt, they are going to pass an order, and if any person is aggrieved by this order, they can file an appeal with the DRAT within the specified time period following the specific procedure. So the DRT and the DRAT also work. Again, the amount due should be 20 lakh or more, and 30 days time will be given to the defendant. Then ex parte order will be given that if the defendant they do not provide any reasonable documents or saying why no appeal should lie, then no appeal can be filed by the defendant with the DRAT. So all of these provisions are there. Then the modes of recovery of debts are there. Now here when we are discussing the recovery of debts, we are saying it should be more than 20 lakhs. Now what about the dues which are unpaid below 20 lakhs? These are dealt by the Lok Adalats. So the recovery of NPAs through the award of Lok Adalat is the easiest, cheapest and the fastest mode, and the Lok Adalat is organized under the provisions of the Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987. Then under the Act, we have the National Legal Services Authority, the Legal Services Authority for the state, district level and the Taluk Legal Services Committee. So basically to provide free and competent legal service to the weaker sections of the society, the Lok Adalats are organized. So on the basis of equal opportunity, they were, and they are conducted at various places in the country for the disposal. Also, the method that is used by the Lok Adalat is through arbitration and settlement between the parties. So the NPAs with or in the branches with dues up to rupees 20 lakh is taken by the Lok Adalat, right? Again, there are provisions for the banks for engaging the direct recovery agents as well. RBI guidelines are there so that the recovery agent, whatever method they are using, they should not be against the welfare of the borrowers or the customers. Then, if there are any complaints against the bank or its recovery agents, how should they be dealt with? Everything is there in this particular chapter, which is very important. So if you want to study this chapter and other units as well, you can join the JAIIB selection batch for the May-June 2025 exams, and it is going to be an all-in-one course. So apart from RBWM, you're also going to get all the other papers and live classes, full-length, sectional, case study and numerical based test. You'll get the complete basic to advanced level preparation. And if you join the course now, you can use the code START and avail flat 49% off on your JAIIB subscription. This sale ends today, so make sure that you enroll now. Also, there's a very important information for you. There's going to be a mega webinar how to crack JIB 2025 in your first attempt. This is on 9th of February at 11 a.m. and you should register for this now. You'll get the best study tips, strategy, and the best resources. What should be the time management? You'll get all of this idea. So, thank you so much for attending. And if you want to join the course, then the details are there in the description box. Also, you can download the PDF. The link is also there. If you have any doubts, any queries, please let me know in the comment section. I will see you tomorrow with the next chapter. Till then, thank you and all the best.